Morning or afternoon, this presentation will be exploring 3 different countries' sustainability: Japan, Denmark and the UAE. It has been shown that the different countries experience a unique response to industrialisation. Caldaro, 2014. Therefore, when examining the concept of sustainability as the global population increases, it makes sense to investigate multicultural interpretations of the definition.
Japan. The 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development is a set of international development goals to be achieved by 2030, which was adopted as a successor to the Millennium Development Goals and addressing inequality, consumption and climate change. As a result, the Japanese government created a set of initiatives for implementing the SDGs. They built the national framework for implementation. They formulated the implementation guiding principles. They took a multi-stakeholder approach through regular roundtable meetings, and they support the global implementation of the 2030 Agenda. The SDGs prioritised by Japan's efforts are universal health coverage, gender equality, and disaster risk reduction. Japan has to cope with the stresses of a declining and ageing population. Not only does this mean that geriatric illnesses will be on the increase, it is also a huge financial burden on the younger generation. The number of women of childbearing years has declined, resulting in a decline in the number of births. And of course, if you have population decline, you will also have workforce decline. Owing to Japan's placement on the Pacific Ring of Fire, natural disaster is one of the most overtly pressing issues that they face. The SDGs on the previous slide have then been reworked into the following 5 categories for PR: infectious disease control, resilience, health and longevity, environment, and diversity and inclusiveness. Note that there is nothing here relating to economic sustainability. But does this directly translate into textbooks? Textbooks in Japan are published under a government-authorised system. This extract from a textbook shows that Japanese kids are indeed taught the TBL approach, meaning that there is significance in that this year's sustainability PR communications actually omit economic sustainability. Does looking at sustainability from a historical perspective bring anything else to light, or does it reflect the thinking of the now? Japan reverted to traditional methods to control population via 1 million induced abortions in 1957. This implies that while Japan was early in its awareness of a young form of sustainability, it valued population control at the expense of human rights. Japan's commitment to sustainable development growth can be seen in its approach not just to tourism but also its industry for conventions and business events. Japanese convention cities are leading this drive, using the platform of business events to help achieve the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. My specific advice to event managers operating in that country is to focus on the destination. Kyoto has excellent public transportation and is easily explored on foot. Sapporo, the former host of Asia's first Winter Olympics, has an overwhelming food sufficiency rate of 208%. Tokyo hopes that the Olympics will lead to a heightened public awareness of environmental issues as a major legacy. Gold, silver and bronze medals from cell phones and other electronic devices are being collected to produce Olympic and Paralympic medals. Through that, people from around the country can feel like they're part of the team.
An event perspective: Tokyo Olympics 2020. To continue from Amber, the event has tried to cover all areas of sustainability to help the overall event and Japan. From looking at the official sustainability pre-game report on Tokyo 2020, being a sustainable event has had a massive factor in the planning of the Games. As you can see on the slides, they have linked the 17 United Nations Global Sustainable Goals to key areas in the event which they will be using. For example, you can see the involvement, cooperation and communications have been used for number 16 and 17 from the key sustainable goals. Also on the slide, there is a sustainability concept illustration for stakeholders, which allows everyone to know what the event is trying to do for Japan's sustainability.
Sapporo Snow Festival was founded in 1950 when 6 high school students built 6 snow statues in Odori Park. It's held in February at 3 different sites in Sapporo, which are Odori Park, Susukino and Sudome. Over 50,000 people attended their first festival in 1950, and since then, more and more people attend every year. In 2016, according to the official data, over 2.61 million people attended, and this continually increases every year. In January 2019, the snowfall along the Sea of Japan was reported to be the lowest since 1961, which is when meteorological agencies started keeping records. In 2020, the festival ran from the 31st of January to the 11th of February. However, this year they had to source some snow and tow it from other towns to be able to create 200 plus snow sculptures. Meteorological research Hiroaki Kawase said that global warming turned snowfall to rain. So if this kind of winter happened 100 years ago, when the average temperatures were lower, there'll be much more snow than there is now.
Denmark. Denmark is number 1 for Global Sustainability 2020. They are the front runners in sustainable development with universal healthcare, an innovative educational system, gender equality, a generous social safety net. They have cooperation among social partners and responsible business, as well as clean and efficient energy production, personal freedoms and more. This reflects a long-standing Danish tradition of pursuing solutions that are sustainable in the long run. For hundreds of years, Denmark was a society based on agriculture and fishing, and the people of Denmark still feel closely tied to their land and water. The Danes respect nature, and this is why Denmark is a pioneer in promoting sustainability. For decades, Denmark has created a world-class green energy system, delivering a cleaner lifestyle, and has focused on making their building more energy efficient. Samsø Island is in the middle of Denmark and has been 100% sustainable, relying entirely on renewable energy such as wind, solar and biomass energy since 2007. Wonderful Copenhagen is a certified green tourism organisation and wants to make tourism positive, from hotels combating food waste to venue programmes for refugees. Copenhagen is one of the steps Copenhagen has put in place so they can become the world's first carbon neutral capital.
An Event Perspective Copenhagen Fashion Summit. As Georgia mentioned, Denmark has always tried to be a sustainable country and use the United Nations Global Sustainable Goals, which has been seen through events such as the Copenhagen Fashion Summit. It is an annual event that has been around for the past 10 years, and their 3 key main areas in which they are trying to help in changing the fashion industry are production, consumption, and marketing. The event also seeks to underscore the relevance of developing new forms of business to address challenges such as climate change, human rights, and the increasingly challenging scarcity of natural resources in the fashion industry. For example, in the 2019 summit, they had a group of youths discuss the ways in which the fashion industry can advance the UN Sustainable Development Goals of health and well-being for all gender equality for women and girls everywhere. This was then used in Hansa Kalaya's speech for one of the main shows.
Denmark's Northside Festival is a 3-day event held annually in June in Aarhus, Denmark. Since 2010, Northside has won various awards for their work on green solutions, and every year they have 40,000 plus attendees. Northside came up with the innovative idea of having smartly dressed trash butlers and trash maids, shown in the image above. They walk around the site and hand out small bags for people to collect garbage, and they also hand out pocket ashtrays for cigarette butts and many other things. Their bins, which are pictured above, are specially designed Reeboks bins to encourage people to sort their waste into each one. Free beer is also handed out to those who collect a certain number of cigarette butts. But waste isn't their only focus when it comes to sustainability at Northside Festival. The food at Northside is 100% organic and the beverages are 97% organic. The packaging used is FSC certified and plastic free. This is to promote sustainability more, and they are deliberately no parking spaces at the festival because they encourage their attendees to travel eco-friendly, like cycling or walking.
Dubai. It is known that Dubai is a fast-developing country that has had an impressive increase in population over the past decades. Dubai realised that they had a major issue with sustainability when they were declared the country with the largest ecological footprint per capita, mostly because of carbon emissions. Since then, they have wanted to become one of the most sustainable countries in the world. And to achieve their goal, they had to consider many contributing factors. Middle Eastern countries have initiated the development of their own green buildings regulations, which reflect their unique environments and their market needs. These regulations need to accommodate for lots of their energy being used on cooling systems, that they need to incorporate more natural ways of keeping temperatures lower to lessen the amount of electricity used on air conditioning. And also, over 90% of their food is imported, meaning that they need to create environments suitable to enhance the growth of what they can already produce. A green building regulation code was added to the Dubai municipality in 2011, making those regulations mandatory for all government projects. They also created a private project regulations that was added in 2014 and was effective from March that same year. Dubai on sustainability. Chief Sustainability Officer of Dubai explains, "Sustainability is about reducing our ecological footprint on the planet. How can we live well by using minimal resources? Sustainability can be defined in terms of social, environmental, and economic outcomes. We need to optimize all three outcomes to promote well-being, minimize our carbon footprint, and achieve financial security." Once Dubai started to develop plans and create the Sustainable City, which is a housing development that produces more energy than it consumes, it has become clear that they are determined to accomplish sustainability in all its outcomes. The United Arab Emirates have made all 17 United Nations Sustainability Development Goals relevant, even if they do not affect Dubai directly. They are taking it on themselves to assess the problems and help out other countries. For example, in the UAE Sustainable Development Goals agenda for 2017, they stated that because of the absence of poverty in the UAE, the government has developed policies and programs specifically for the care of vulnerable groups. Finally, they have also incorporated these Sustainable Development Goals into their events industry to promote themselves as a mega event-friendly destination.
There are three main topics of the Dubai Expo, which are opportunity, mobility and sustainability. For opportunity, it's to focus on discovering new potentials. For mobility, it's to create smarter and better connections. And for sustainability, it's to be living in balance with the world around us. They have strategy-packed ideas that cover from recycling to promoting natural solutions. It also supports a sustainability sub-theme, which is the Dubai Plan and the UAE Vision 2021, and the United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. They claim that sustainability is being integrated into all aspects of the event while creating a meaningful impact beyond the 6 months duration of the event, and it inspires millions of visitors to reaffirm their commitment to the environment. Their strategies are to leave a legacy of sustainable infrastructure and cutting-edge sustainability practices. They also want to catalyse sustainability effort in Dubai and the UAE, to increase public awareness about their engagement with sustainability principles and sustainable living, and it also is to develop sustainable answers that are scalable and extending benefits to wider economies.
How does influencing and behaviour of people in Japan differ from Denmark and Dubai? Sustainability issues are now top of the mind for many meeting planners, and Japan has seized the opportunity to increase its focus on responsible and sustainable practices in the business events industry. This supports the UN's SDGs, adds value for planners, and brings a competitive edge for its business event stakeholders. Japan can also offer a world of valuable paradigm for sustainable development based on its own, often contradictory experience, including traditions of nature conservation and the modern challenges of severe industrial pollution. Denmark is one of the most sustainable countries in the world. They have helped to plan and put in place the UN's SDGs that target both environmental sustainability and social goals for a better world in 2030. They themselves want Copenhagen to become a carbon neutral capital. They are already hosting various sustainable events such as the Copenhagen Fashion Summit and the Northside Festival. This gives Denmark an edge on holding events because many are now pushing for a better and more sustainable world. Given the years of experience Denmark has of sustainability, they understand the demand of sustainable events, and this is clear in what they have already achieved and will carry on to achieve. Dubai are making an effort to incorporate the Sustainable Development Goals into as many aspects of their events as they can. As there has been a delay on the running of the Expo for Dubai 2020 till the following year, they cannot yet calculate the outcomes and evaluate where there is need for improvement. As a whole, Dubai has presented an understanding of the demand of sustainable living and development and has improved their policies to reach their goal of becoming one of the most sustainable countries. They differentiate from other countries by having a unique approach to accommodate to their unique environment. Thank you for listening.